What is up, YouTube, and welcome to this Umma breakdown, ending, explained and review. It's the latest movie featuring Sandra Oh, and I funnily enough watched it the same day as the final Killing Eve episode, so I watched two disappointing things with Sandra Oh in one day, but the point of it being disappointing was not a fault that lied with her, but mainly the writing. We follow Amanda as she lives on a remote farm with their daughter, who is homeschooled. They don't have any modern electronics due to Amanda seemingly being allergic to electricity, and is dismayed when her daughter wanted to leave the farm to go away to college. But there is far more than meets the eye here, as Amanda's uncle arrives to let her know her mother has died and has brought her ashes and her treasured belongings. Amanda seemed kind of rattled by this and seemingly had a traumatic childhood and abusive childhood raised by her mother alone, as her father left the family to grow up in America all alone. It turns out that Amanda was raised alone by her mother, and she was abused by her with electric shocks, which is why she says she's allergic to tech to cover her PTSD. It's important that she says that this allergy, or the whole life without electricity, occurred when she gave birth to Chrissy, because she didn't want to actually have this reminder and become like her mother. She was similarly worried that she would start to become like her. She left her mother after they came to America and cut all ties with her and rejected her Korean culture and the language, something her uncle shamed her for not teaching her daughter any Korean, or teaching even. Once the ashes of her mother arrives, a spirit appears and is intent in claiming Amanda's body for her own, and the truth of what happened with her mother and the real story of her is told to Chrissy, as Amanda says that, well, your grandparents, I made them up, your whole life's a lie, and tells her about her grandmother, true grandmother. Slowly, as the movie progresses, Amanda's mother wants to take the body over. She sees terrifying visions of spirits, and Amanda would need to perform a ritual to exorcise her mother of any spirits. And later, you see visions of these passed on spirits, or kind of stuck in limbo, and even a nine-tailed fox. The relationship of her mother affected her so much, she is protected of her daughter and wanted her to stay in the home with no electricity, and was generally being overprotective. She starts to become her mother as she wears the hanbok and starts to morph into her, but she's found by Chrissy. But this was after Amanda was trying to bury the mother's stuff, but would become possessed and turn into what she was starting to becoming. The resentment that, well, Amanda had for messing up with Chrissy and keeping her alone in a way created a ball of resentment that allowed the Umma to possess her. And Chrissy managed to knock the mask off Amanda after Amanda tried to kill her for wanting to leave to college. It's then that she tries to confront her mother. She acknowledges the trauma her mother had, having to raise the child in America, and how tough that may have been, being a fish out of water. But she says that there's not really any excuse for the trauma and the abuse that her mother inflicted on her. Now, as well as this, they start to kind of come together, and the whole traumatic life is moved on. It's overcome, and they can move on. After this, Amanda starts to share her heritage with Chrissy, and they perform the ceremony and help her mother move on. And after this, Chrissy goes away to college, and they can live their life. Sadly, the movie did not hit for me. While it did look interesting, it never really got going. It felt like there was a huge mystery, it's kind of like a Blumhouse curse style thing that was going to happen, but it was simply a resentment and a real lame kind of horror here. It never really got going. As a sort of mother-daughter story, there is something there. It reminded me of a movie that came out last year, and where the mother pretended that the kid was ill and it was Munchausen's by proxy. Completely lost it off the top of my head, as this part of the script is ad-libbed, but I'll try and remember and put it in the description for you. They never really got anything, and it never really reached the heights of what I was expecting. It was short, which I appreciated in a world where movies are pushing 3 hours regularly. It's, I think, about an hour and 20, an hour and a half, which I fully liked because it was a generally dull movie, which was a true shame, as I really liked the exploration of Korean culture, and I hope that we would go more into that and more into maybe the kind of ghost stories of that culture, which I don't know much about and would like to know more. The movie deserved more than simply this traumatic childhood, but that's the way it is. I wanted to like it. The performances were admittedly pretty good, it's just that there was nothing here for me. But that is it for this video. Let me know what you thought of the movie down below. If you enjoyed it, please do drop a like down below if you enjoyed the video, that is, and subscribe with notifications to never miss a video. I'll see you soon, and goodbye.